Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And please subscribe if you haven't already. Getting close to that 10,000 milestone. I have a feeling today is the day. I also have a feeling that today is not the day for the 49ers to hire a defensive coordinator. What is taking so long, you ask? And I think it's pretty obvious at this point, considering they've only officially interviewed two candidates, that being Deshae Townsend and then the key name, Robert Saleh. And so a lot of stuff happening away from the 49ers, which ultimately impacts the 49ers on Wednesday. The last video I posted was Liam Cohen, the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who was considered the clear front runner for that Jacksonville job. He decides, you know what? I think I'd rather stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They make him one of the highest paid coordinators in the league. So he says, I'm staying put. I'm not going to Jacksonville. Then later in the day, the Jacksonville Jaguars ownership, Shad Khan, announces that Trent Baalke is out as general manager. Coincidence? Absolutely not. What was very clear with the timing of that is that the Jaguars are missing out on some quality head coaching candidates. The pool is shrinking because Trent Baalke is the general manager there. And we all know what happened with the 49ers with his run-ins with Jim Harbaugh. That relationship or lack thereof got so strained, so fractured that the 49ers chose basically Baalke over Harbaugh. Now, Harbaugh was, probably kind of at the end there as far as the locker room and everything else goes, but maybe it wouldn't have worked out that way if those two could have gotten along a little bit better or worked a little bit better. Then Baalke hires Jim Tomsula, which was seen, from the press conference on as not a great hire, promoting a defensive line coach who hadn't even been a coordinator to the head coach. That simply didn't work out. And then he hired Chip Kelly. That didn't work out either. And then at the end of Chip Kelly's tenure there, both he and Baalke are out. Shanahan is in along with John Lynch. So I would assume this kind of reinvigorates the Jacksonville Jaguars approach to filling their head coach position because now it's looking like the model that Seattle had with Pete Carroll and Schneider, and then with the 49ers had with bringing in Shanahan and Lynch. So this does all of a sudden become a more attractive position for a head coach if the Jaguars do it this way. If with Ethan Waugh, the assistant general manager under Baalke, and who has longtime 49er ties. In fact, he was with the 49ers for 12, 13 years and left in 2022. So he knows Lynch, he knows Shanahan, and maybe more importantly, he knows Robert Saleh. The question for him, though, is can he now go out and get, a Liam Cohen kind of guy, a offensive mind on the rise, or a hot candidate with the promise that now you don't have to work with Trent Baalke, you don't have to work under him. That reputation that Baalke has around the league, that's irrelevant now. Now you have the opportunity as a head coach to find your general manager, someone you work well with, someone you can be in lockstep with, and all of a sudden that becomes a lot more attractive job when the head coach doesn't feel like he's tethered to Trent Baalke. The coach can go out and find his general manager. So, because there's two ways to look at this, because of Ethan Waugh's relationship with Robert Saleh, having known him, does that move him even further up the list? Or now do the Jaguars start from scratch and say, let's look at all these other candidates that maybe we passed on the first time around because if they go with what they have now, the people, Patrick Graham and Robert Saleh are the known candidates who will get second interviews, but those are second interviews under Trent Baalke. So now with Ethan Waugh and Shad Khan, do they kind of tear up that list and go in a different direction? Whatever the case is, yes, I know this is a 49ers themed YouTube channel. It impacts the 49ers because I don't think anything happens on defensive coordinator until Robert Saleh figures out or his mind is made up for him what he's going to do. All appearances are he will be the 49ers defensive coordinator, but now there's some rumblings out of Detroit that they could go after him for their defense coordinator position. So what I think would happen would be once Saleh knows if he's not getting a head coaching job and he remains a candidate with the Jaguars, the Raiders, and the Cowboys, if he doesn't get a head coaching job, it sure appears as if he's coming to the 49ers as defensive coordinator. If he does get a head coaching job, then the 49ers go to the next person on their list. Again, the three people we know who are candidates for the 49ers coaching job or for the defense coordinator job: Saleh, Deshae Townsend, who's the defensive backs coach, as well as the defensive passing game coordinator for the Lions, who is also, I would assume, a candidate to be the Lions defensive coordinator with Aaron Glenn going to the Jets. And the other one is Brandon Staley. But we know, at least I assume, just because of stuff, what I've heard is that the 49ers have talked to a lot of people. Tim Kawakami, the San Francisco Standard, reports that Pete Carroll is somebody the 49ers have talked about inside the building. Does that surprise me? Absolutely not. I'm sure they've talked about everybody that they can come to mind. And then it's a matter of, do we pursue them? How hard do we pursue them? Let's make contact, see if they're interested. And so, would Pete Carroll be interested in a defensive coordinator position? What is he, 73 years old? I don't know if he wants that kind of grind. He's been a head coach for oh so long. Does he want to take that step back? Is he going to get the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching position? But, for me, the probably another guy who I thought would be at that top of the list where I haven't heard anything about him as far it's just been crickets as far as the defense coordinator position goes. That's Gus Bradley, because Shanahan reached out to him and wanted him back in 2017. Bradley ended up going to the Chargers with Anthony Lynn to be the defense coordinator there. He's bounced around a little bit, most recently fired with the Indianapolis Colts. And I know people are saying, well, why would the 49ers want a defensive coordinator who just got fired by the Colts? Coaches get fired all the time. We see it. Guys who are considered good coaches get fired all the time. Doesn't mean they're bad coaches. It just means that in a lot of instances, we saw it with the 49ers, that head coach feels like he just needs to do something to shake it up, to, whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call them, scapegoat, change of scenery, bring somebody else in, just try to mix up the formula and hope that that will lead to success. So once again, no news on the 49ers coordinator positions. When something happens, I'll have some thoughts, but right now it really doesn't appear as if a end is in sight for the 49ers filling their biggest need on the coaching staff, their biggest vacancy on the coaching staff, and that is defensive coordinator. All right, thanks for watching, and that is it for now.